is Ginny from Homestead Corner, and today I'm going to whip up a super quick pantry meal. We've got all these soups in the pantry that we made, and today I'm going to do a chicken stew with dumplings. This is a super fast weeknight meal. It doesn't take only 20 minutes probably, tops. So we're just going to take our 2 quarts of chicken soup and we're going to put them in a big stock pot like so, and get them on the heat and warm them up. I'm just going to pull these tops off and we're going to dump them right in. Tattler lids work really good. I'm happy with them. They stayed sealed, which I like. It's my first time using them. I canned in them and they worked really well, so I'm pretty happy. I think I might invest in a few more of those. These are just ones my mom gave me to try because she loves them. So we've got our soup in the pot and we're going to put it on the stove on about medium heat, medium high, right around 7 or 8. And then we're going to mix up our dumplings. Alright, so we're going to start with 1 cup of flour, and I'm just going to run it through this mesh strainer just to kind of sift it, make sure there's no big chunks in there. I used to love when my grandma made chicken and dumplings when I was a kid. I just love them so much, and these are super easy to make and really fast. So we have got 1 cup of flour, and we're going to put 2 teaspoons of baking powder in here. 1, 2. And then we are going to add 1 teaspoon of just regular sugar. You don't want them too sweet, but that just gives them enough. And then we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of parsley to these. I like them with a little bit of parsley in them. You can add up to a tablespoon in here. Or you can leave them plain. That's definitely optional. It's the parsley. And then we are going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And we're just going to cut that right in. We'll add that right in there. And we're just going to kind of cut that right in so it mixes and breaks down. It's room temperature, but it's kind of chilly. I think it's like 10 degrees outside today, and it's a little windy, so it's definitely not great out there. So we just kind of mash this in and keep mashing it in. I don't have one of those fancy things to cut butter in with, but this works. Thank God I stayed in the kitchen when I was a kid with my grandma. She was always making something, and I always had to have my hands in it. So we got that pretty well smashed in there. It's kind of cold, but that's okay. You want to get it pretty broken up. As much as you can anyway. So there's not huge butter chunks. And then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of milk. And I use 1%. I think my grandma used whole milk. That's what she usually had in the house. But whatever milk you got, any kind of milk. I'm sure you could substitute with soy or something if you wanted to. And we're just going to put this 1/2 cup of milk right in there and make a nice little dough. And we're just going to keep mixing until this all comes together into a nice dough. And if it's a little too wet, you can add more flour And if it's a little too dry, you can add a little more milk or a tablespoon of water or whatever. Okay. So there we have, this is the consistency that I'm looking for. And I am going to get a spoon. And once our soup is up to a boil, we're going to put this in and I will bring you back. Okay, so we have just come up to a boil. And I'm going to take just a little bit of this broth out so I can thicken up the broth. I like it more like a stew. So I'm just going to take a little bit so I can add some flour and we can thicken that broth up. And now I'm going to take my dumplings, my dumpling mixture I made. I'm going to take that by the spoonful and we're just going to drop it into the boiling soup. This is so delicious. Oh my goodness. I think this might be one of my favorite one-pot meals. It was definitely a favorite when I was a kid. You know, when Grandma makes it, it's just so good. And these are going to blow up a little bit in there. They're going to get a little bit bigger. That baking powder is going to make them rise a little bit. So, there we have it. Just put each one of those in there, and now we're just going to cover this up and we're going to let this boil for about 15 minutes. And we're going to keep it on a medium, low medium, just enough so it's boiling. We don't want it to boil over or anything. We just want to keep it bubbling so it'll cook those dumplings. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of flour to this and add it back in. So that will just help thicken it up and make it more like a stew instead of a real thin soup. So I've just added a little more than a tablespoon, and you want to do this in a cup, not in the pan, because if it creates any lumps, you don't want lumpy stew. So you want to just make sure you do this outside of the pan in a cup so you can thicken it. And that is going to be good. Once we pour this in, while it boils, it's going to thicken up the stew. I'm not going to have it super thick, but I like it a little thinner than just soup. So that is about a tablespoon of, a little more than a tablespoon of flour. And I'm going to, my dumplings have been cooking for 5 minutes, so we're going to put this back in right now. And so this has a chance to thicken up while it's cooking. Okay, so these dumplings have been cooking for a little over 5 minutes, and we are going to add just a little bit of thickener in here because this is pretty watery. So we're going to add this in here, our flour and broth mixture, and you just want to make sure there's no lumps in it before you add it back in. We'll give it a little stir, get it all around, and this will just give it more of a stew feel instead of a clear soup. And those dumplings are looking fabulous, and you can just move those around. Nice and easy to do. This is a super simple quick meal. All right, so we got about 8 or 9 minutes left, and I'll bring you back. All right, so this is a perfect lunch for a cold day or a quick, easy dinner. This is so fast. You're done in 20 minutes, literally. And I got a little bit of pepper on there, and you can see the dumplings are cooked all the way through. They are just, oh, I just dropped it in there. I think you can see this. They're cooked all the way through. Where are they? There. Get this in view really good. But they're cooked all the way through, and they are just so good. Oh my goodness, I love a nice stew with dumplings. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my goodness. So tasty. Just like Grandma's dumplings. Yum. And that is it. A super quick pantry meal. You can do this in literally less than a half an hour, 20 minutes is about what it takes. So quick and easy, weeknight meal, or if you got to feed a lot of people, this is another great thing to do on a cold winter day. You can really stretch out your dollars with a chicken soup. And this is all homemade and really good. Nice big chunks of chicken. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.